Hey, we gonna party tonight or what?
Yeah, we are gonna party.
So, what would you little maniacs like to do first?
Hey, Latchkey kids and driving Mutant. Sorry that I had to start a little bit late. I was trying to get some stuff together. As I posted here, I'm on the camera plain faced and without a stitch of makeup on because I'm about to do a cosplay tonight as I'm going to be on Master Chaos TV. We're going to try to simulcast it on my channel, but just in case it doesn't work, make sure you are subscribed to Master Chaos Official. Actually, I wrote the wrong one. It's at Master Chaos Official is the channel that we're going to be on tonight. We're doing a watch along, and it will be in costume, so it's kind of a costume party. Let's see what we got in the chat. Tony Man says, okay, I don't even know if I know this one, so I might put the pauses in the wrong places. I make music to make you sick of the fake music, hate music, like devil worshiping Satan music. Say your prayers, your Hail Marys, and Jesus take 2 sticks, tape them together, and make a crucifix. It's Devil's Night. I came back to rule this time. It's Devil's Night. I came back to take what's mine. See, I was going to say Eminem, but D12, Devil's Night. Okay. Makes sense because they're from Detroit. Oh, thank you so much. What's up, JJ? So we're going to start this. By the way, this show will not be quite as long as I usually stream because of the whole cosplay thing. But I am going to, let me see, does it look better? No, looks like I got to do it this way. I don't know which, maybe this way looks a little bit better because I can increase the size of this once it plays, I think. Let's start with a Devil's Night PSA that I found.
Detroit fire.
Okay, what happened? It didn't play. Let me try it again. Okay, something is up. Something is not playing right. Come on, just play what I clicked on to play.
Detroit firefighters are bracing.
That is so weird. It won't play.
October 30th, the night before Halloween. It's a night known to many as Mission.
Now I don't know why those first ones it's jumping like every time. Okay, I'm gonna disconnect the screen and try it again. Maybe that's the issue because it's weird. It shouldn't have a problem playing. Why is it playing 2 seconds of each video and then stopping? Let's reload the page too. Technology will not let me be great, and it's ticking me off. Now it's great and I can show it right. I'm sorry for this, guys. It's a problem. All right, let me just close the whole tab because that is like acting stupid. I don't even know why it's doing that. So we'll have to reopen, see what if I can fix this here. What a pain. I hope you guys are doing okay midweek though, while I'm doing this. Oh, okay, let's try this again. Hopefully, let's switch the format. Maybe it's that format. Okay. Whew. Let me go to the comments. Have Cheetah Will View says, I know about Late Night with the Devil. Does that count? That's a little bit different. Great film, though. I enjoyed it. Oh, no, was the video not playing with sound? Or I closed everything out and I'm going to try it again. Maybe the devil took over your street. Every time I try to talk about anything that has to do with demons, I get technical issues. And I don't think that's a coincidence. I think they don't want you to know about them. I literally had to stop what I was doing to post this. Relax about it. It's Devil's Night, and the imps and gremlins are out to play. Yeah, thank you. All right, let's see if we can get this PSA to play again.
Detroit.
What the freak? It went to the next one,
Because
and it only plays 1 second of it.
October 30th, the night before Halloween.
Okay. Let's troubleshoot this. I hit pause. Why does it keep doing stuff I didn't ask it to do? I have an idea. No, it's just
What's
going
up?
from each video that I had queued up is just playing. It won't play, and it's pissing me off. Stop the screen again. It won't let me be great. Okay, I have an idea. Maybe it's the whole playlisting format that's messed up, and we'll try to do something different. Let's do this. Yeah, I did. Okay. If it doesn't work this time, I don't know what to do.
Detroit firefighters are bracing for Devil's Night. That's the annual pre-Halloween arson spree. Last year, 281 blazes were reported. City officials are taking steps to try and stop the fires. Youths under the age of 18 will be under a dusk to dawn curfew tonight, and more than 35,000 volunteers will watch vacant buildings and patrol neighborhoods with fire extinguishers.
That is wild to have to do. Now, this is not going to flow as smoothly because I had things in order. But, like I said, technology doesn't want me to be great. So now I got to be out in these streets looking like an amateur. That's okay. There. This is the next one I wanted to play. So we can learn about what is the
Before
history.
Halloween. It's a night known to many as Mischief Night, a night where kids pull pranks on their towns like egging cars, TPing houses, and much more depending on the part of the world they're in. But in Detroit, Michigan, this night is known as something much more dangerous and destructive, Devil's Night, where gangs of arsonists would set fire to hundreds of buildings all over town. Why does this happen the night before Halloween? Why is the night celebrated by young pranksters and destructive criminals? To start off, we must first acknowledge that Mischief Night being on the 30th is actually not that old of a tradition compared to Halloween itself. This is because mischief and misbehavior have been associated with Halloween since the days of Samhain. Specifically, given the topic at hand, the 31st was seen as a night when the spirits of the dead and other supernatural beings would roam free in our world, haunting us and playing tricks on us. So the ancient Celts would disguise themselves and leave offerings in an attempt to keep the evil spirits at bay. Over time, after All Hallows Eve was co-opted by the church, children basically began adopting the roles of the mischievous creatures the ancient Celts were protecting themselves from. This not only fused with what would become trick-or-treating, but also with the trick part. Like many other Halloween traditions, this too was brought over when the Irish and Scottish immigrants settled in America in the late 1800s and was fairly quickly adopted by other American children. For a while, kids would go out and pull pranks on the townfolk during Halloween, but when trick-or-treating became more popular, most kids ceased their Halloween pranks in favor of dressing up in costumes and asking for candy. This led to parents believing that trick-or-treating was what stopped Halloween pranks, but this isn't actually true, as even today there are occasionally those kids who skip trick-or-treating in order to play pranks instead. This mostly happens in parts of the country where the locals are unfamiliar with Mischief Night, so they do every rebellious prank on Halloween like the goblins did in ancient times. But more importantly, most of these young pranksters just moved their night of mischief to the night before Halloween. Pull tricks on one night, get treats on the other. Tricks and treats. Meanwhile, in the UK, Mischief Night was moved to November 4th, after Halloween and All Souls Day. Some historians believe that the pranks becoming more intense in the last century were the result of stress from the Great Depression and then the Second World War after it. Whether that was the reason for the increase in pranks or not, that tradition has stuck from generation to generation of kids who use this night, the night before Halloween, as an excuse to misbehave. And so it has been for nearly a century. Although most pranks pulled on Mischief Night are relatively harmless, the night has taken a darker and more violent turn in other parts of the country over the years. This is where Devil's Night comes in, a night more associated with violence and destruction. During the Salem witch trials of the late 1600s, Devil's Night was used as a night to coordinate several witch hunts before any supposed witches could use their magic on the townfolk on Halloween. Then, in the 1960s, Devil's Night got its darker association from a night in Detroit, Michigan when anti-police riots led to opportunists setting fire to several buildings in the city. Even though the riot that led to the fires took place in the summer of 1967, not even close to October, the string of arson continued annually every October 30th for decades. The fires were carried out by local gangs that had nothing to do with any kind of civil rights cause or organized rebellion. For them, it was simply a night to cause damage for the sake of causing damage. This annual arson epidemic was used as a setting for the 1994 cult classic movie The Crow, in which the arsonists were used as the main villains. More recently, Detroit has taken action to put a stop to the gang-related vandalism, including asking a large group of thousands of volunteers to keep watch for any attempts at crime on this night. But even now, the threat of Devil's Night remains very real. Halloween tends to get a negative reputation from people because of nights like this. It is a sincere hope of this channel that such violent acts on Mischief Night are ended. There is little that can be done to stop kids from pulling pranks involving toilet paper and eggs with or without Halloween. But as a community, let's do what we can to keep Devil's Night down to just Mischief Night. And remember what really makes Halloween special: a night for respecting the dead and telling scary stories. And eating too much candy. Thank you for watching this Halloween history video. Check out some of our previous history videos and remember to live Halloween.
Yeah, black letters. That's the one. And I haven't watched these before the stream, so I'm learning this at the same time that you guys are learning this.
How do you celebrate Halloween? Carving pumpkins? Trick-or-treating? A costume party, maybe?
Oh, it's a podcast.
What if I told you that arson on a mass scale was once tradition for the residents of Detroit every October 30th, on a night known locally as Devil's Night? The unofficial holiday started out nearly a decade ago with childlike mischief and stayed that way for decades. Although over the past 40 years, Devil's Night has been known for an entirely different tradition, where citizens choose to set ablaze vacant.
I'm going to go to another one because that one I kind of like visuals. Maybe this one has some visuals. I mean, that's good to listen to. Like if I was getting ready for bed, I would listen to it. But for the purpose of reacting, I need something a little bit more visual to react. There we go.
The night before Halloween has traditionally been a night of pranks and mischief in much of the Midwest and some of the northern United States, but in Detroit, it's referred to as Devil's Night and has been a tradition almost as long as the city has existed.
That's wild.
Devil's Night in Detroit can probably be traced back to the mid-1880s Ireland, where the Night of Mischief was originally attributed to fairies and goblins. But it was also a time for young boys to have some fun. In Ireland, boys would carve spooky faces and turnips and scare unwary travelers with tie strings to cabbages and throw them along the fields.
Crazier than
the Scots had one really obnoxious prank where they would pull up a cabbage stalk, get it smoking, and shove it in the keyhole at someone's door, so that when that person came home, they would find it in the fields to scare people. The Scots had one really obnoxious prank where they would pull up a cabbage stalk, get it smoking, and shove it in the keyhole at someone's door, so that when that person came home, they would find a house filled with a noxious smelling vapor.
Oh, okay.
In the United States, the holiday morphed into a night of soaping windows and toilet papering trees. In other words, October 30th was a trick to Halloween's treat and gave the suburban kids a night of rebellion and anarchy. As widespread as Devil's Night seems to be, many parts of the U.S., most notably states in the South and the West, never heard of the Devil's Night and apparently reserve all their mischief hijinks for Halloween. Though the night before Halloween has been associated with mischief and mayhem for centuries, the holiday began to have serious consequences in Detroit during the Civil Rights Movement, according to the book Devil's Night and Other True Tales of Detroit by Detroit native Zeev Chaffetz. The Detroit riots of 1967 ignited when decades of extreme poverty, racial profiling, and police brutality against African Americans in the city reached an apex. The first fires were set during anti-police brutality riots in the summers of '67. But over the years, pre-Halloween arson in Detroit became a sinister epidemic in the Motor City that had little to do with organized rebellion. Instead, the fires turned into annual acts of vandalism that authorities struggled to control for decades. The crimes became more destructive in Detroit's inner-city neighborhoods and included hundreds of acts of arson and vandalism every year. The arson and destruction reached a peak in the mid to late 1980s with more than 800 fires set in 1984. Devil's Night got that particular name after anti-police riots in Detroit led to a tradition of setting fires to local buildings and dumpsters year after year. In 1994's The Crow, Devil's Night plays an integral role. The film's lead antagonist, Top Dollar, played by Michael Wincott, claims to be the inventor.
I was always, when we watch The Crow, I'm always distracted by this guy sewing, or it might be clipping hair, because his hair is like short here and all the way around the crown, and then it's just super long. I think they would have been able to disguise this if they cut layers. Then you wouldn't have known like right where his real hair ended and where the hair piece starts.
Claims to be the inventor of Devil's Night, having lit the first fire.
That's the only thing about re-releasing these things in HD. Because like back in the 90s, we never would have really noticed it too tough. But when you re-release stuff in HD and 4K, you're going to notice that stuff.
Only to be imitated in the following years. It was the Devil's Night violence that led to the death of Eric Craven, played by Brandon Lee, and it was the date of his resurrection as the Crow a year later. Region to region, the night has different names, but the activities remain very much the same. Ringing doorbells, egging cars, dumping rotten produce, and setting bags of poop on fire. In Camden, New Jersey, they call the holiday Mischief Night. In Cincinnati, Ohio, it's called Damage Night, while other parts of Ohio it is called Beggar's Night. In other regions of the U.S., it is also known as Doorbell Night, Trick Night, Corn Night, Tic-Tac Night, and Goosey Night.
Wow.
In Canada, it is either known as Gate Night, where the farmers gate your left open, leaving livestock to roam free, or Mad Night, where pranksters steal doormats and switch them with the neighbors. The later term is unique to Quebec only. The night is known as Cabbage Night in Vermont and New Hampshire, thanks to an old Scottish fortune-telling tradition. Young girls will pull cabbages to examine them and try to divine who their husbands will be. Of course, once those cabbages have told these young ladies all they could, the only thing left to do is to throw the cabbages at someone's door and run away. While the arson in Detroit is the most well-known modern-day form of destruction associated with the night before Halloween, vandalism and violence have been rampant as Mischief Night for centuries, and the violence always seems to increase during economic unrest. Additionally, Halloween itself reportedly began to be associated with witches in 1590 after the North Berwick witch trials, which may have led to the deaths of as many 4,000 people that began in Scotland. Angels Night was established in the 1990s in Detroit as a response to the escalating violence associated with Devil's Night. During the days and nights leading up to Halloween, members of the community would work in tandem with local authorities in an effort to report suspicious activity and potential acts of arson.
The lights on the bike.
As a result, arson and crimes associated with Devil's Night have dropped to an all-time low.
That's cool.
The curfew still remains in effect in Detroit on October 30th to this day. Despite the fact that Devil's Night is no longer the feared event it used to be, Devil's Night has permeated into pulp culture in music, film, and literature. Several Detroit-based hip-hop outfits have extolled the violence and the chaos of Devil's Night, including Esham in 1993 and the Insane Clown Posse in 1998. The debut album of hip-hop supergroup D12, which features Eminem, was titled Devil's Night. In 2015, Mayor Duggan ended Angels Night, the mobilization of thousands of volunteers to patrol the streets, so that residents could focus on the positive activities of Halloween. Hey everyone, this video was a suggestion by one of my patrons, I Am Raven. This was a great video to do, the history of Devil's Night, the night before Halloween. If you want to help out the channel, make sure you hit that like button. If you're new here, make sure you hit the subscribe button. If you want to help out financially, there's always Teespring, or if you're new, then there's also my Patreon, multiple levels and tiers. So hope you enjoyed the video, and I will talk to you guys later.
I did.
Be water, my friend.
And that went by pretty well. It was only 6 minutes, but it went by so fast. ICP, yes, Insane Clown Posse. From what I hear, they're pretty nice guys. Like, people kind of think because of their look that they would be like really mean or outrageous or something like that. But from everything I've heard, they've been pretty like stand-up dudes. I'm not super familiar with their music, but I'm always glad to hear that. There was another one that was from back in the day.
Before Halloween. It's a night known to many as Mischief Night, a night where kids pull pranks on their towns like egging cars, TPing houses.
And an investigation is underway following the discovery of an...
Yeah, we're not talking about that tonight. Make sure you vote, though. Because that's important. Even if you're not, into the presidential election, the local election is very important. You vote for your judges, you vote for your sheriffs and stuff like that. So it's important to at least be active in your local elections. I think I played that one. There was one. I remember seeing the lady at the press conference. There it is. This is the one I wanted to see from 1995.
Devil's Night in Detroit. For a few, a mindless attempt to burn and destroy property and lives. For still others, it is the relentless struggle to save and finally put to rest the pointless destruction of a great city. In many ways, the future of Detroit depends upon efforts such as that to eliminate Devil's Night arson. Its success will help put an end to the senseless...
Can we take a moment to appreciate her hair? I love this, and I love, like, when, in the 80s, when we would do like a blowout with, I mean, this could be also a relaxer too, but it looks like a blowout with a roller set, and it just looks great. And I love the fullness and the softness of it. Has nothing to do with nothing, just something I noticed.
Destruction of property, negative press, and sometimes loss of life. So what's involved in the 1995 Devil's Night Anti-Arson campaign? How can you get involved and make a difference? There are 7 main areas in which volunteers are needed. You choose the one which best fits your abilities. The 7 areas are Adopt a House program, Neighborhood Patrol, Porch Light program, Logistical support, the Youth component, Eyes and Ears, and the Orange Ribbon campaign.
I probably would have
The
signed
Adopt a House component involves volunteers diligently watching a vacant or abandoned house or building on their block or in their neighborhood. These volunteers will watch the designated building from 6 p.m. to midnight on October 30th, Devil's Night. Volunteers are also needed to watch the buildings on the evenings of Sunday, October 29th and Tuesday, October 31st. If you become an Adopt a House volunteer, here's exactly what you must do. Watch the designated structure during the 6-hour period. If you can see the structure from your home, remain outdoors, on your porch or in your yard during the 6-hour period. Provide hourly written reports of activity in or around your adopted structure during the 6-hour period.
Okay, no, that's too much. Provide hourly written reports. Who's gonna do that? I'm sure somebody with time on their hands will do that. But well, at the same time, like, how else are they gonna report it in 1985? Because they didn't. I mean, government officials had access to the internet, but the public didn't have access to the internet yet. So, and you're not gonna type it up. But I just heard that and I was like, for real? Tony Man says, I think my grandmother and aunt met Insane Clown Posse, Kid Rock, and the late Joe C. when my cousin was tour manager for Stained. I remember her saying everyone was very sweet, especially Joe C. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, hall monitors. Yeah, it takes a special person to be a hall monitor. That was never me.
Watched house signs on your adopted building.
I did have my own seat in detention. I don't know whether that is a flex or something I should be ashamed of, but I had my desk.
Call 911 when you see suspicious activity around your adopted structure.
Oh, a snitch too.
Write down the license numbers of suspicious-looking vehicles and descriptions of suspicious people.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. I used that term incorrectly. That's an informant, not a snitch. A snitch is a person that participates in the crime and then tells on everybody else. That's an informant that calls the cops on you. A lot of times we use the term snitching wrong. Write down license numbers and descriptions.
Encourage your neighbors to be watch buddies and join you in watching the structure. Prior to your designated watch time, check around your adopted property. Remove anything that can easily catch fire and water down any flammable materials that cannot be moved. There are also a number of things you must not do if you are an Adopt a House.
The way they try to pass this on to the community, why did they not have the police and there's the police department, the volunteer firefighters? Like, why are they not? Even if if it was really really bad, would they have cause to call in like the National Guard type guys and women at the time that like maybe they could patrol instead of having civilians? It seems like to have people that are like prepared to deal with these type of things seems a little bit unsafe. I made bracelets in place of candy. I hope I don't get eggs. I think that's a good idea because I was thinking the other day, like, what could you do? Because what I usually do for Halloween is I used to have these like little glow in the dark spiders and rings and things that I will always include in the bags because you never know if a child is diabetic and they can't have candy, and it's very hard to find sugar-free candy, or if they have a nut allergy or something. So I would ask the parent, and I would give them for any child that had a medical issue. I would have like a special goodie bag that had other things in it besides, sugary candy or anything with nuts in it. Glow in the dark stuff. I remember I used to put glow in the dark bracelets and stuff in it because you can all find these things at the Dollar Tree too. So I think the bracelet thing is not a bad idea, especially if they glow in the dark. I think that's helping the kids because they need to be visible walking around at night. Police Academy, Citizens on Patrol. Yeah, exactly. That's what it's giving. It's giving Citizens on Patrol. This idea, I don't know how well this works.
Volunteer. Don't put out fires. Don't set flammable items outside. Don't carry weapons. Don't question suspicious people. Don't try to make a citizen's arrest. And finally, don't take the law into your own hands. Remember, as an Adopt a House volunteer, your primary mission is to keep the neighborhood safe by watching your assigned vacant property on Devil's Night, October 30th, from 6 p.m. to midnight, and immediately report any suspicious activity. The next component is the neighborhood patrol. As the name implies, neighborhood patrol volunteers keep a watchful eye over their assigned neighborhood or section of a neighborhood. Volunteers are grouped in teams of 2 or more people. Each team is assigned a specific section of a neighborhood or a whole neighborhood.
I'm sorry, but all these gentlemen are walking like they got bad knees. Should y'all be patrolling if you walking like this? Look at this.
People. Each team is assigned a specific section of a neighborhood or a
They
whole
walking like they got
neighborhood.
bad knees.
They either patrol on foot or in a vehicle
Well,
equipped
maybe
with a flashing
mobility
yellow light.
keeps the
If you are a neighborhood patrol volunteer, you must provide hourly written reports of activities within your patrol area.
Look at her! Look at her! She at the door with the clipboard. Oh my God, this is for real. Wow! and you allowed yourself to be recorded doing this. It is giving complete home monitor. Oh wow! Don't put out fires and bees knees. That's why I think they should have the at that time back in 1995. Oh, it's 95, not 85. Oh yeah, so they could have typed it on a computer. We had internet by then. But yeah, this is wild. And she got her
area.
I mean, I wear
Report
glasses
suspicious
too.
criminal activity by calling 911. Write down suspicious license plates and descriptions of suspicious people. Carry a flashlight.
Wait,
Check
that's the
all
right
equipment
one,
before
baby.
duty. Wear light-colored clothing if assigned to patrol on foot. Prior to Devil's Night, get to know your patrol area. Notice where the abandoned buildings are. If you are a neighborhood patrol volunteer, there are certain things you cannot.
Or here's something that the city could have done: clean up the abandoned buildings. I don't know why they did not. There's probably some type of municipal reason. Maybe they voted in some people that were pocketing money. That's what happened in Connecticut. We didn't necessarily have abandoned buildings, but we had certain community projects. Like there was an exit ramp in Hartford that took like maybe 15 to 20 years to complete, and it was because certain people were pocketing the money rather than actually completing the project. So I think our governor ended up going to jail for that. Yeah, Governor Rowland went to jail for that because I guess it was like something where he was funneling money to his buddy rather than paying for the construction to actually be completed. It was a whole mess. So it could be some stuff like that happened. I always hated Halloween when I was young. My dad always had to test the candy and took all the Kit Kats, Snickers, and peanut butter cups, left me with crap candy. Yeah, my father used to test the candy too, but he didn't take it all. But he took a good chunk.
Not do. They are. Carry any type of weapon while on patrol.
Really?
Allow pets in your patrol vehicles. Interrogate suspicious people.
Oh, these are don'ts. Okay. Let me go back. I thought they was telling people to do carry weapons.
Where the abandoned buildings are. If you are a neighborhood patrol volunteer, there are certain things you cannot do. They are: carry any type of weapon while on patrol. Allow pets in your patrol vehicles. Interrogate suspicious people. Make a citizen's arrest. Use a police scanner or monitor. Patrol if under the influence of alcohol, narcotic medication, or other drugs. Leave your vehicle unless directed by a police or fire official. The third area in which people are needed is logistical support. These are the behind-the-scenes workers who make all the other volunteer efforts work. Logistical support volunteers would also work from 6 p.m. to midnight on Devil's Night. Among the important jobs handled by logistical support volunteers are operating neighborhood city halls, operating the phone bank, filling in when needed on neighborhood patrols or at Adopt-A-House sites, assist with the distribution of equipment, receive and organize reports, provide refreshments for the patrol volunteers. Loss of life.
Here. I'm trying to figure out what equipment was she handing him.
Among the important jobs handled by logistical support volunteers.
Now you see the computer right there.
Volunteers are operating neighborhood city halls, operating the phone bank, filling in when needed on neighborhood patrols or at Adopt-A-House sites, assist with the.
Now what is she handing him that is equipment? Maybe it's a light? It's a flashlight or something?
Distribution of
or a mask? Or goggles? I can't tell what that is she's handing him.
equipment. Receive and organize reports. Provide refreshments for the patrol volunteers. The fourth volunteer opportunity is the porch light component. This is something in which every resident can take part. It does not require volunteers to leave their homes. You simply turn on your porch light or lawn lights from dusk to dawn on Devil's Night.
You know what? Whenever I think of porch lights, I think of that one scene in Halloween when Laurie Strode is running across the street and she's asking for help. She's banging on the door, help me, help me, help me. And they turn on the porch light, and it looks like they probably look out the window, and then they turn it off and ignore her. I was like, that is messed up. The Big Dig in Boston. What's the Big Dig in Boston, JJ? I sympathize. My brother and I learned to watch like a hawk. Wow, someone actually went to jail for that. That's amazing. Yeah, yeah. And, well, he did it for like a decade before he went to jail, though. They take forever to get him, but they finally got him. Only people they also wanted to get rid of went to jail. Otherwise, it was regular business. Oh. It looks like a dashboard lamp. Oh, yeah, like what you put in, like what's what detectives put in their car that flashes. When I come back home for the candy haul, we would dump the candy on the living room floor and go through every piece. And come to find out, that whole thing with the razor blades and the candy, it was a dude that tried to do that to his own children. Same thing with the apples. It was a person that tried to do that like to their own niece or nephew or something. It was never something that was done like to children. But once you hear the story one time, like it's going to make everyone very, very paranoid. It's that type of story. What politicians made tons of money on what? Oh, that's what you're referring to as the Big Dig in Boston. Politicians made tons of money on it and took forever to complete. Yep. That's the other thing that goes around every couple of years on Halloween. They always say, oh, check the candy really closely because people might be trying to give your children drugs. I've never believed that because drugs are expensive. People are not giving those away. Nobody giving that away.
Night and regularly look out your window to make sure nothing suspicious is happening around your home. Arsonists like to work in the dark, and a well-lighted neighborhood is an extremely strong deterrent to a would-be arsonist. If you agree to do this, you must still fill out a volunteer card and return it to the city. You can pick up your volunteer card at any neighborhood city hall office, police or fire station, or at the city county building in...
Did they hand out these orange caps? They should have.
Room 118. Everybody can use their eyes and ears. If you are unable to participate in the neighborhood patrol, adopt a house, or logistical support elements of the campaign, we need you to serve as an eyes and ears volunteer. Just like the utility company employees who participate in their Eyes and Ears program, you can be part of the Detroit Eyes and Ears program by watching your neighborhood throughout the Halloween period. No reports are required. You won't be asked to watch a...
I think it's kind of cool that this neighborhood has these lamps in front of their houses. That must look kind of pretty.
Particular building or patrol a neighborhood. However, you will be asked to commit to do a few specific things. They are: carefully watch your neighborhood. Become aware when something out of the ordinary is happening. Call 911 anytime you see something illegal happening. Don't assume someone else will make the call. Become familiar with the vacant or abandoned structures in your neighborhood and make a point of checking on them as often as possible by driving or walking past them, but never enter a vacant building. Immediately call your police precinct and report any changes or suspicious activity at these structures. Between 6
in Beverly Hills Cop, did Eddie Murphy's character Axel Foley come from Detroit? I feel like he might have came from Detroit, but I could be mistaken and it might have been Chicago. I think it's Detroit because I think he had a Detroit Lions jacket or sweatshirt on. For some reason, my mind is saying Detroit Lions, but I think that's where Axel Foley's character came from as well. Why didn't Lori just go to the McKenzies when she sent the kids? Yeah, that's a good point because she did send them to the McKenzies. I don't know. The Pixie Sticks guy, he killed his own child and tried to frame it as a Halloween attack. It was so sick. Yes. Always love that scene in Trick or Treat when he tells the kid, always remember to check your candy. Mm-hmm. It was Detroit. Thank you. So Axel was from Detroit.
p.m. and midnight on Devil's Night, watch your neighborhood from your front porch, yard, or window.
Illustrate what you're
the more visible you are, the better.
Well,
so that passers-by know you are out on the lookout.
Standing there and they just
if you cannot see your structure from your porch or lawn, position yourself in full view of your structure. During the Devil's Night period, report any youth violating the special Devil's Night curfew, 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. for anyone under 18.
6 p.m.
Picture this. All one...
It should at least have been 8 p.m. I remember that's one thing. Did anyone else's parents tell you that Halloween ends at 8 p.m.? Because I was told that all through elementary school that Halloween ends at 8 p.m. I think that's their way of saying we're not trick or treating for any later than that. And they didn't even go. They used to send my older brother with us. He was in high school, so he didn't really want to go either, but he had to.
Million Detroit.
Meanwhile, I trick or treated till I was 17. I was a senior in high school. I was still trick or treating, but I'm only 5'3", so I with a mask on, nobody knows. I remember one time me and my friends went trick or treating on November 1st, I think it was. It was either November 1st or November 2nd. I know it was firmly after Halloween, but it worked out great because everyone just gave us their leftover candy they didn't give out. They just dumped bowls of candy, and we just had like a sack full of hella candy. This was again, no, I was a junior in high school when we did that. I was a junior in high school. It was, and my friend was a senior. We just were daring each other to do it. And we just did it. Great idea. I'm pretty sure Axel is from the D. Do you remember that song? It's so cold in the D.
Detroiters wearing an orange ribbon on their shirts to show their opposition to Devil's Night arson. You can help make this happen by wearing your own orange ribbon. The orange ribbon symbolizes our resolve not to tolerate Devil's Night arson anymore and our willingness to stand up and work together to stop this useless burning of our city. All registered volunteers will receive an orange ribbon. The youth of Detroit are our future. It's important to involve the young in the Devil's Night anti-arson campaign. Not only will their involvement help deter them from the deadly lure of arson, but it also makes them responsible for themselves and their city. It will let them know that they too are needed in the ongoing fight against arson. You can participate in the Devil's Night anti-arson campaign by joining Mayor Archer's Pride All-Stars. In order to become a Pride All-Star, youth must sign a pledge to do certain specific things and have their parents or guardians sign it as well. When you sign the pledge to become one of Mayor Archer's Pride All-Stars, you are agreeing to obey both the Devil's Night and year-round curfews. Talk with your family about the dangers of Devil's Night arson and encourage your parents or guardians to volunteer in the adult portion of the Devil's Night anti-arson campaign. Obey all laws and take responsibility for your actions, especially during the Devil's Night Halloween period. Stay in school, be good students, and work all year long to make Detroit a better place.
It's funny I have to think like that because living in Florida, property gets damaged because of these hurricanes. So the fact that my mind automatically thought of, well, what if your door gets damaged because of the hurricanes? That's kind of sad.
On your porch lights at dusk on Devil's Night and leave them on until the next morning. Encourage 3 friends to become Pride All-Stars. Wear your orange ribbon button to...
All right, now they're just reiterating points that they already went over. There was one more video about this guy talking about his experience. Let me see. It's called Devil's Night in Detroit. Let me see what he's saying. From a person that lives there at the time. There he's at. Finally, I can engage in folks on a regular. Oh, you must have made it home.
Just, did I say it right? I'm going to say it again.
Before he gets started, Nicole says, I was 19 the last time I went trick-or-treating. I got a ton of candy. People just laughed and gave me handfuls. Then I learned to use little cousins to not look like a crazy person. The thing is, I'm not against teenagers trick-or-treating. I don't have no problem with I don't have a problem with adults trick-or-treating. I don't see it as a problem. There was one family, maybe I would say they were about 3 or 4 blocks from where I lived in high school. And I remember they used to have a table outside their house. And they would give out candy. And then for the adults, they would give shots, either Jello shots or some other type of shots. I didn't really pay close attention because I was a kid at the time. But I thought that was funny, too, them giving out shots during Halloween. Yeah, I think normalize teenagers trick-or-treating because they're still kids. And who doesn't like candy?
This is Just Ray, a.k.a. Just. It's Happy Halloween. As you see, I'm dressed up. I'm trying to, if you recognize it, I'm trying to come as LL. Mm-hmm. Lick the lips. Ladies love. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to come with a story tonight for growing up in Detroit. And this was years ago. We was maybe 13 or 14. Me and my boys, I call them my brothers because I got 40 years in deep with them. And we was beefing with somebody. And I remember the person we was beefing with lived off of Livernois. And if you remember the John C. Lodge Freeway, off of Livernois and Finkel. You know, when you went up down Finkel to Livernois, and you can kind of run into, I think, John C. Lodge, and it was kind of, you can get Dexter off there too.
Oh,
But
that's
if you guys, it's been years since I've been over there, so I might. But if you know what Finkel Livernois is, and you run it, you can go straight and then kind of go towards over there off by John C. Lodge. That person we had beef with lived over that way. I'm not gonna call him by his regular name. I'm gonna give him a white boy name, Billy. So anyway, we will always beef with this kid named Billy, and Billy was notorious for, like, when we get an argument with him, he would pull a gun.
Oh, damn.
So I remember one time we just had enough of him. Me, Ray, Steve, and it was just like, fuck it. It was Devil's Night, and we knew where Billy lived at, and we would always see his house, and in back of his house was a garage, but we noticed in that garage, right at the bottom, on the far right, I remember like it was yesterday, it was like a little opening in his garage where you can crawl into that space. I remember where my boy Ray said, yo man, fuck him. I'm tired of his bullshit. We gonna take care of this shit. And I'm like, okay, well, what we gonna do? So I remember crawling to that space, getting into his garage, and we're noticing in the garage a couch, like a dirty matted couch, and some little crates that they sit in. They I guess whoever Billy, who we had beef with, was had made the little garage into his little clubhouse for him and his boys. And I remember you know, getting inside, and me and my boys, we looking around, we looking at this dude garage, like, man, fuck him and fuck everything. We start kicking shit over and doing knucklehead shit. Now I'm not gonna sit here and say I'm all proud about it, and I'm not. But when you have no direction in life and you don't know sometimes right from wrong, and you're kind of beefing with somebody, and there's no one to direct you and say, you know what, leave that bullshit alone and go about your business. We do stupid shit. I'm not here to say, oh, it was fun and it was okay. It wasn't. I'm just want to point out and tell the story, and really kind of give a lesson of like, okay, these are the things you don't do. So if the younger generation can learn from this and say, damn, he was kind of out there, and we were, you know what I'm saying? So, as I said, we had crawled through the hole, and we in Billy's garage, kicking shit, cutting shit up. And I remember, I was like, right, we did it, and we ain't gonna tell them who house we gonna burn, but Ray said, fuck it. I remember, and Devil's Night in Detroit, as y'all know, is notorious for the fires.
Mm-hmm.
Fires, y'all, you know this to be true since the, I think, 70s and 80s. I know, was notorious for Devil's Night fires. So I remember us getting in there, wanting to do damage to whatever property of Billy's that he had. I remember we lighting that motherfucker up. I mean, just doing some real reckless shit. Now, we started with paper in the corner, but then we lit his couch up. I remember the couch just engulfed in flames, and when I say it was crazy, my heart was racing, and I'm thinking, I remember this like yesterday. We was like going through that hole that we came in the garage from the back way.
It could be the couch. If it's a synthetic fabric, then it might be made of petroleum products, and it's very, very flammable.
Getting into that hole and getting into that alleyway as quick as possible, and we just seeing smoke just whoosh. Now, and I'm gonna tell you some other shit. Y'all gonna look at me kind of crazy, like, you really did that? Yeah, I did. So now we run away from the situation.
Hold up, what's the statute of limitations for this? You telling this story online? Can you still catch charges for this? I hope not. I hope the statute of limitations have expired for what you're about to describe.
The fire that we caused, the fire that we caused, and we're like, okay, like maybe a quarter mile away, watching it, standing there watching it just engulf, and we see the fire department and everything. Then we see Billy. We ain't gonna say the real name. We see Billy out there, and we can see his face just like horrified of all the shit. And then his family's out there, looking at they all looking at each other like, can't believe what really had happened, because I look back now, that fire could have really spread to their house, and we didn't think about it. And I'm thinking to myself, like, God damn, man, we was really some knuckleheads. We really did some fucked up shit. And I'm thinking to myself, like, man, I mean, God bless that no one got hurt, but we did all that because we was beefing with somebody, and we didn't take in regard of what could have had happened if that fire had spread. And it's a blessing that it didn't. I remember the fire. It was like two fire trucks there, the police there, his family standing outside and stuff. You know, their face just in shock of how could this happen to us? You know what I'm saying? Then we seen the guy we had beef with, and I remember we not really paying attention. We laughing at him because just to see the misery and the pain of that what we caused him was like joyful. And that's how naive we were, not really paying attention to what we were doing. We were just it was like a get back. And I mean, but let me say this though, I'm telling this story, and it's a true story. You know what I'm saying? It's nothing to brag about. And I would tell people, younger people, think before you do, because I'm a big believer of karma now. I mean, I really do. I've had things happen to me, and I take it in a grain of sand because I know I have done things that
I agree with that so much about karma because I remember being probably 16, 17 years old. And me and my friends used to always kind of like tease about, we wouldn't say it to like the person's face, but we would tease about people that had like bad skin, like bad acne. Say, be like, oh, so and so has pizza face, stuff like that. How about I turned 18 years old? I was in college. They said, like, oh, how you like it, bitch? How you like it? And I had to deal with that for like, gosh, I don't think my skin cleared up till I was in my 30s. But yeah, watch what you say because sometimes karma will smack you right dead back in the face, literally.
I regret and stuff or not.
And watch what you do.
Be careful about the things you do in life because it may not get back to you right that moment. But believe me, something in life will affect you and may cause you pain and hurting and dismay down the road. And you have to look at like what have you done in life that karma had hit you like this. You know what I'm saying? Because I look at everything. I've done things that I regret, things I pray on, and the things me and my friends done, we paid the price for it. Trust me. And this is growing up Detroit. Um, I hope you guys like it. It's about Devil's Night, and these are the things that we did. And I hope I'm gonna be trying to bring you guys some more. I got people wanting me to bring growing up in Detroit again. I hope you guys like this. Give me your comments. Please like and subscribe. I get the words out. Please like and subscribe. And you guys have a blessed and happy Halloween. Keep your heads up.
Oh wait.
Peace. This is Just Roy, aka.
He had to do the LL Cool J. Yeah, shout out to him because that was a good story, and I like how he ended it with like telling the youth not to do what he did. I think that's very, very important. Got a couple more comments, and then I got to get out of here soon because I got to go beat my face. Tony Man says, I remember the eggs at the bodega would be expensive as hell on the 30th and the 31st, and then go back down. There were eggshells littering the streets on November 1st. Mm-hmm. Didn't you see a blonde girl's hair fall out after you and your friends saw? That's real funny. That's real funny. Nice craft reference. I wish. All right, I gotta go beat my face. I was trying. I don't know if you guys noticed, but during this whole live stream, I'm trying to lay my wig. I had glued it on because I have, as you know, I have a much larger forehead than this. But I glued it on for my cosplay. You have to come back at 8 o'clock to see what the cosplay turns out to be. But I gotta run. So thank you guys for passing through, and thank you so much for being patient through my technical issues towards the beginning of the stream. Because this was really, really interesting, and I'm glad I learned about it. Tomorrow night, I'm going to be on Trash Picture Show. Another cosplay for tomorrow. I won't tell you what it is. It's going to be with Jen's Reviews from the Grave, and I'm sure some other people coming, but I'm not 100% sure which channels. And then I feel like I'm missing something. Yeah, 8 o'clock tonight, Master Chaos Official. And then tomorrow, Trash Picture Show. Friday, I will be back here. I have another live stream. We're going to be learning about Dia de Muertos because that's November 1st and 2nd. I think that's pretty cool. Thank you. And I didn't even comb it out yet. So, and this one I got this just at the neighborhood hair store. So it's just it's meant to be. It says that it's a human hair wig, but I don't know. It feels a little synthetic-y. It might be human hair. It just feels funny because it was dyed or something. But yeah. All right, let me get out of here for real, for real. Have a good night, you guys.
Turn it down right